Okay, this class we are going to draw a banana, and I have in every picture I have this original photographs on there. So I think it's very easy for me. If I have this, I can tell you what I'm thinking, what I'm looking, and so you get a better idea and what I'm doing, right? So when I look at the picture, first of all, I let you know, I get rid of this one. I was thinking like maybe you guys don't have time for that one, so that's why I did just three, because I don't want you to hurry. So I did a three, but if you have time, please, I welcome you at that one too. Okay, so first, when I look at the banana, I did this. Okay, so ignore that one. So look at this three. So I put this like right here, this one. I went this line. I made this line, this. You can tell, right? This, 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 this. Okay, look. I'm going to show you what I did for the first step. I literally made this like that. That's what I say. That's what I say on this, right? So that's what I drew on this one. Look. The whole proportion of this banana, right? That's the first steps. I'm showing you what I see. I'm drawing it, and what I see, what I draw, right? I didn't start with the detail. I didn't start with, one banana. I did not, let's see, I did not draw this first, right? I draw the whole thing first. And also noticed I use pretty much straighter line, so not curved lines, right? A little bit straight. But when I say straight, I didn't literally mean you have draw a straight line like that, okay? I didn't say draw a straight line like this, right? It's kind of, straight, right? Because it's not that curved. Okay, that's the first step. Then the second step. So look, I have that before. I'm going to use a different color so you can see it. I'm going to use this pink for that's the first step I had. Remember the first step I showed you? So that's the first step. Then the second step, I'm getting more detail, right? I'm dividing those three bananas. So that was the first one. So I get detail. I got this. Then bump up a little bit. See that bump up a little bit. Okay, don't bump it too much. Then it goes like that. Then I look, okay, that's slanted. See that line is slanted. Then bump it up a little bit. See that bump up a little bit, okay? Then go down and look how far from here to here, right? You stop here, don't go too far, right? Don't too short by looking at this. So you know where to stop, right? And by looking at, see again, by looking at this, where this is, and you know where this, how far this going to go, how far that going to go, right? So that's another banana, right? Still a little bit straight lines. And that's the third one just behind it, right? And look where this stopped. Important. Okay, I think I made it a little bit too short. I should have stopped like right there. Okay, so that's the second step, just dividing the bananas. And also, you noticed I still didn't use those, curved line. Still a little bit straight line, more sketchy. Then, okay. Then, see, the banana kind of have those little, like, faces, right? See that little bump here? So, banana is not, like, very round like this, right? They kind of have, the edges. They have those little, not very too sharp, but it's a edge, right? The edge turned to the other side. So I was dividing this because that's the darker side, lighter side, the darker side, lighter side, right? So that's why I'm dividing. When I'm dividing, what I'm doing, what I'm looking at is this shape. See this white shape, lighter shape, and the darker shape. For this one, the lighter shape is smaller than the darker shape. See, that's the lighter shape, that's a darker shape. So don't just draw a line. So when you draw a line, you have to draw the shape of it, right? And this shape of it, the darker side of the shape and the lighter side of the shape. The lighter side of the shape, the top is bigger than the bottom, right? So look, this narrow get wide, narrow get wide, right? That's what I'm looking at. You have to pay attention to the shape, right? Okay, that's the, okay, now basically lights is from here, so just a darker side and the lighter side. This whole thing is the dark, only this part, a little bit part is light, right? And also even this light is darker than that. See how light that is? And okay, why is the net? Okay, gone. So yeah, I'm shading it. Look, this important part, I'm going to blow it up so you can look. This core shadow, that's reflection, casting shadow, reflection, right? See the lighter? Those are casting shadow. And this has some reflection from here. That's why it's light. See the reflection here? See the reflection under? See the reflection under? This is a reflection from the yellow table, light yellow table, gave the bottom some reflection. So this turns this way, right? Turns that way. All right. And that's, I want you to see it. The casting shadow. What's going on here? Okay. Casting shadow, core shadow, reflection, and yeah, everything there. Okay, so that's what I did. See, it's very kind of sketchy, right? But that's what you do in the beginning. Remember? See, I left here. What's that? That's the reflection. What's that? That's a reflection. Casting core shadow. Okay, and casting shadow, right? And you can see those are lighter. Reflection, right? Yeah, I want you to see what I'm doing. And that one is the first drop of the shading. Okay, now I'm getting more detailed. See, it's not that rough anymore. So when you shade it, when you shade it like let me see this one. Okay, so if this one I'm shading, I'm starting here, the first shading, right? Shading the first layer. I'm starting here, then I go here, right? What do you do for the second one? Voila, it's the same thing. I'm still starting from here. I'm not only make it darker, I'm make it more detailed. Okay, so now the line kind of seem more little bit wrong, a little more, not that sharp anymore, right? So where I'm gonna start shading the first layer, now I'm shading the second layer because we want to shade a layer by layer, make more detail, right? So when the second layers do it, and the more very important where I start. Like drawing anything, where I start for the second step, where I start for the third step, where I'm start for the fifth step. Where you start is where you start before in the first step. If first step you start shading here, the second step you start here, the third step you start here, okay? You start there, you get in more detail, more dark, more detail, right? So that's what I did. One more layer, still you can see a core shadow, reflection, casting shadow, right? Everything's there, still there, just more detail. Okay, now this one, I did this casting shadows shape. Okay, the shape is very important because most of you say, okay, shadow, just random draw a shadow, okay? The shadow is the shape of the object. So the shadow has to be correct. The shape has to be correct, okay? And where you put the shadow, important, okay? Then see how I shaded the shadow? You can see it's darker here, lighter here. That's what I did, dark to light, dark to light. That's lighter than here, right? And the last step, I made it darker. I made some part a little darker, see? And so, and when you draw the sketches, 素描, okay? So have a pace, have a rhythm. And the rhythm is from fast to slow, okay? The reason is when you first started, you have to, draw it. You don't be afraid to draw, right? Then the other process is kind of the fixing process, right? Because you draw it, you look at it, okay, the second step, 50% correct, 50% is wrong, right? So what you do is you have to pay attention to recognize what's the 50% is correct, where are the 50% is wrong. So you take time to recognize that so you can fix the 50% was wrong. Because if you don't do that, don't slow down, don't pay attention to look, you might fix the correct thing wrong, right? Then, you never finish, right? Then after the third or fourth step, like this one, and you're almost done, right? You're like, okay, I'm 90% correct, right? That's pretty good. So I'm going to just find that 10% I need to fix, or not just wrong, or maybe I want to add something. In Chinese thing is called 画龙点睛, 就是 means, and you draw a dragon, then the last step you're going to draw the eye. So the eye is very important, right? Just the one eyeball, if you made it very good, then wow, the whole picture looks good, right? So in the last step, mainly what you do is you you squeeze your eyes to look. Which part is the darkest part, but I still didn't make it dark? Because if you made that dark part dark, the dark and light contrast make the picture more, more sharp. Let's see, right? It's not like, oh, all the same gray, right? It's more sharp, the contrast to make it sharp. So find those things and slowly, because you want to make it right place. So, okay, that's the final step. So because I can see the background is a little bit darker than the light side of the banana, so that's why I made the background, a little bit background here. And this is darker than the background, so see, that's darker than the background. So when I think background sometimes is the hardest thing to shade. And also, like I said in the beginning, if you think, oh, it's too easy for you, please, fix this banana here, right? You can add that here. Not in the end, in the beginning, okay? If you think, oh, I can finish that on time, so, I just add that one on, right? I can make a bigger bunch of banana. Okay, bye.